Hi, I am author Denise Vega, and I want to welcome you to one of my picture book quick tips. Now, this topic I'm going to discuss is a question that I see and hear a lot, which is, how do I self-publish my children's book? Now, before I get started on this, and of course this question could be answered quite in depth, but I'm just going to touch on 3 things that I think are vital to publishing a good children's book. The first thing I want to say is that for most people, when they hear the words children's book, they usually mean children's picture book. So that's what I'm going to focus on, is the children's picture book. So tip number 1 is learn as much as you can about the craft. Now, the thing that's most important about this is that you put out your best effort for kids. Kids deserve our best. So my first thing is learn as much about the craft as you can. This includes taking classes, whether that's in person or online, learning as much as you can by reading the books, and that includes reading as a writer, meaning you are looking at picture books with a critical eye, trying to figure out what makes them tick, why they work, pulling them apart, reading very good rhyming picture books if you're interested in those. So you're learning the craft, you're taking classes, you're going to workshops, you're talking to people in the know. Maybe you're getting your manuscripts critiqued, which is my tip number 2. Write the very best picture book manuscript that you can. And that includes getting words down on paper, revising, getting feedback from trusted professionals, preferably an author who writes picture books, a freelance editor, getting a manuscript critique, getting feedback in a class, all of those things, and then going back and revising your work, and then getting it to be to a place where it really is solid. And it's also a picture book story. Many stories that I come across in my classes are actually not picture book stories. They're great short stories, and some of them are even the great start to what I would consider a children's chapter book or middle grade novel. But they aren't picture books. So it's a very particular type of book, and you really need to take some time to get to understand what a children's picture book is all about. What makes it tick? Why is it so unique compared to other books? What do those illustrations have to do with everything? And all of that. So I really encourage you to explore, study, learn, and then write and revise. And finally, tip number 3, invest in professionals. You are going to have your name on this book. So that means you want to make sure that whatever you are producing is the very best it can possibly be. So first you've done your research, you've really learned what a picture book is, you've written a picture book manuscript, and now you're going to get those other people to help you take it to the next level. So that includes editors to help you improve the actual writing and the story of itself, copy editing, which is the more nitpicky of the writing, and a first top-notch children's book illustrator, not just a general illustrator, but a children's book illustrator who understands how to illustrate a children's picture book. It's a very different process than other types of illustrations because those illustrations help tell part of the story. So make sure you hire a really good professional children's book illustrator, and then finally a book designer. So all of these things that you're going to be doing are going to ensure that you have the very best book you can to give to kids. They deserve that from us. So make sure that you don't cut any corners and that you don't just rush into it. Kids deserve your very best, which isn't always the first thing that comes out of us. Trust me, I know. My first drafts are always horrible, so I would never, ever give that to a child. I don't even let my critique group see my first drafts. So kids really deserve our best. So make sure that you take these tips into consideration, and I wish you all the best. Have a blast and make the best book you possibly can. Thanks so much.